heat pumps freeze to death. Yes, this is only my opinion, my own personal opinion, no scientific fact, but to me, what I'm going to say sounds common sense. Now, let me say that there's big, multiplied by 10 bigs, money into heat pumps. Right? So where there's big money, there's also big, I'm not going to say that word because I'll get banned off YouTube. But this tells you about heat pumps. Now, I'll just get to the point here if I can. This is the main point. Okay. Now read it. I think this is the main point. They don't generate heat. Okay, that, well, they probably don't. Basically, they're going to take the heat from outside and pump it into the house. That's where the heat pump term comes from. They pump the heat from outside into the inside. There's a good drawing here. If you have a fridge or fridge freezer, that takes the heat from your food and pumps it outside the fridge freezer. If you look on the back of most freezers, you see a radiator, and there is warmth pumped out there from the food inside to keep that food cold or frozen, okay? And that's basically what a heat pump does. Maybe a bit of reverse, so it has chemicals, usually pretty specialized chemicals inside the piping, which go through what they call a phase change. And that's like when you change water into steam, it goes from water into steam, and that is like what the term is a phase change. Well, basically it's getting heat from outside here. This will be on the outside of your building, going through a compressor, and the coils will be on the inside. Now there's talk about radiators needing to be about 10,000 times bigger to get the heat into your room. Okay, a bit of exaggeration there, but if governments who are getting, well, I'm not going to say it, but you know, just use your noggin a bit. Okay, now I've spoken to somebody about heat pumps, and they said they tried it out on one estate, maybe 500 houses, I don't know, don't quote me on that, one area, and they found that they had to move the people out the houses because it's such a big job to fit these heat pump radiators and everything. Now I do not actually believe that. I think you can stop in the house. You could stop in the house. I mean, I was in this house when they fitted a combination boiler and the radiators, and you're not using a room, or you might have to move stuff out of a couple of rooms while they're working in those couple of rooms, and then you'll move back in that room and such like. It's a disruption, yeah, but there is, you'll probably have to buy bigger radiators to keep your home toasty. Well, they're saying toasty, what they mean is, 1 degree above freezing, I think. Every word on here is twisted, right? Just every single word is twisted just about. But what I wanted to basically say is, okay, this sounds good, doesn't it? Taking the heat from outside, using this phase change of the chemicals inside the pipe to a certain extent. Using a bit of physics there, it's a bit scientific, so that's good. You know, you can't go wrong with science, can you? No. And heat gets pumped into your house. Well, warmth gets pumped into your house. Using similar stuff to what central heating radiators are. But as it says there, from what I've heard, okay, you know, underfloor heating, if you don't mind your bottom of your feet getting burnt off and the rest of you being freezing. Yeah, heat pumps great. So I'm just going to tell you what the main problem I think with heat pumps is, that they're covering over. Why are they covering it over? Big money. Big, multiplied by 250,000 million money. Water can be cooler than from a boiler. So you're still going to have to heat your water. Okay, bigger tank there it's talking about, some more space. You know, if you've got space after you fit the big radiators in your room, okay to you. Disadvantages. Don't read the advantages, only ever read the disadvantages, because those are going to be a lot worse than the make out. If ever you see nice animation, nice colours, this isn't an animation, okay, but if ever you see nice bonny colours describing stuff and making things look simple, I mean, I am simplifying this, okay, but if ever you see anything like that, look out. This is the same people who sold you diesel cars as being great. Just think about that. All right. So, if you want heat pumps, you need, you know, 10-foot thick of insulation, vacuum chambers and all sorts of stuff, like a vacuum flask. Mirrors to reflect the heat, all on the outside walls, or if you want to put them on the inside walls with your massive radiators inside. That's up to you. You need space. So you need even space for the space of the space that they're going to take up. Now there are different types of heat pumps. Here's a nice picture, how nice it looks. So this basically on the outside, taking air in from the outside. So you've got a noisy fan in there. They tell you it's not noisy, but when you, hang on, I'm leaving the best to the last, honest I am. I should put this at the front because that's all you really need to think about. All this rubbish here, apart from, or you're going to get £5,000 discount on a £12,000 that you're going to pay out. Running costs. And the comparing prices here, which is always a dodgy business. You just go in the supermarkets and see how they compare their own brands with, well, what I'm going to call proper brands, you know, and say their own brands are cheaper. Yeah, of course they are. But look at the quality of some of it. Now some of it is okay. Some of it, I use own brands in supermarkets, and some of it's perfectly good, but some of it is not. Right, so there's some of the prices. Cost of maintenance, working life of 20 years. I don't think so. Blocked by ice. No, they're not blocked by ice. Don't worry about that. Even though, now I'm going to talk about the main issue with this. Let's look at that image again, because that's a nice coloured, you know, what to show to a 5-year-old image, because we are all 5-year-old. Well, we might as well be, right? So it's taking the heat from outside and pumping it inside the house. Now just a minute. Okay, you've got a few hundred of these. Not too bad. Taking 1/10 of a degree. I don't know. They're not telling you. They daren't tell you. That's why they're not telling you. But it's like having a freezer on the outside, basically, or similar. And freezers can get down to -20. But let's say it's 1 degree. We'd be generous, 1 degree. Okay, so this is taking 1 degree up from outside and it's pumping 2 or 3 degrees into here. How does it do that? Because the physics behind it. Okay, well, it might be a bit more than that, but this is only very approximation, and I'm being, in my opinion, very multiplied by another 2,000 conservative out on this. And you've got a few hundred doing this. You walk past there, you're going to feel a bit of a chill, right? You're going out and about, you're going to feel a bit of a chill, because it's took that heat from outside where you're walking. Now we've got millions and millions of houses in the UK, and even if only 25% of them go over the heat pumps, it's going to pump a massive, huge amount of heat from outside, out the air, inside, okay? But that heat's coming from outside. So when you go outside, you are going to freeze. It's going to have an impact on the environment. The very thing that these claim that it's going to save the environment. It's a con job. You are being fooled if you believe this idea that they're going to take heat from outside and it's not going to have any impact on anything whatsoever. No, they're not telling you that. They're not even mentioning it. Does it? I mean, it mentions it vaguely, but it only shows you one there. But you imagine every single house anywhere near where you live is all taking 1 degree out of the atmosphere. What do you think that's going to do to the environment? Use your noggin. Stop being conned by big governments who are getting, I'm going to say it, big backhanders of energy companies and heat pump manufacturers to push this idea. You know, they sit in a warm office getting their expenses paid by you through taxes. Thank you very much. They don't have to bother about it. But I can tell you, you will. You know, we're having a cold winter now, 2022, back end. You think this is cold when you're going out and about. Wait until you get all these heat pumps installed. So you're going to have these big boxes all over the place. Yeah, they're showing a nice semi-detached there, but do you live in a... Possibly not. But the main point here I want to say is that it's going to take heat from outside. What's it going to do to the outside heating temperatures? Well, the warm air outside. Every time you go out, you're going to freeze. You were literally going to come out of a nice toasty, that's what they said here, warm house, but when you go outside you're going to freeze. Anything you've got outside is going to freeze. Your car won't work because of petrol, or, well, we won't have petrol then, we're going to all have electric cars. Another good idea, as a pump, your car doesn't make pollution, but I think the power plant might make a little bit. Just think about all these houses with these boxes on. If you're living in flats, they're going to be stuck on the walls outside. Like air conditioning in America. If you look at air conditioning in America, some of those images, you see all these stupid boxes sticking outside. They don't rust, by the way. They don't block up with ice. They don't get pollution in them and block up or anything like that. The fans never make any noise. Because these are absolutely brilliant. There's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. There's no, it's a good idea. And I say it's a good idea to them because they're getting big money out of it. I'm going to finish off there.